Welcome back, everyone. We're back with VCT Game Changers APAC LCQ, and we have our second match for the day coming up. I'm Zach, and with me here is Datum, and I think I can safely say both of us are super excited for this
Mm.
because it's going to be ARF Starlight versus X10, a new challenger versus an old contender. Both of these teams, they have had an absolutely flawless run in their group stage so far. Neither of these teams have dropped a single map.
Oh yeah,
But today, one of them are going to be going down to that lower bracket. So, Matt, how are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling super excited. Just as excited as I was for that last matchup because we have a very similar storyline coming in for this one particular matchup compared to the last one, and that's ARF Starlight again, another team formed specifically for Game Changers APAC LCQ. And they also have a lot of Game Changers veterans. You got Rue from Renatus White, Margot, and Crescents from a Big Scythe, and it's just an absolutely stacked roster, very much so like Basis 6. But X10 and Sapphire, the main difference is that they are a team that have performed very consistently here in Game Changers. So I feel like with regards to just how close the matchup is, I feel like this one is a little bit closer.
It could be indeed. And like you mentioned, it is going to be a case of, like I mentioned, both these teams have had a flawless run so far. And Irish Starlight, even though they're newly formed, like you mentioned, they do have veteran players coming in. And they're a team that is incredibly strong right off the bat. But X10, this is a team that has suffered so far. That's the nicest way I can say it. Yeah. So like to give you a little bit of context about their journey so far. They
Mm.
did really well in all the opens until Open 4, where they
No.
missed out in the playoff stage. And just because of that, they didn't have enough points to directly qualify to Elite. They bombed out in overtime as well. They did not make it very far. And let's take a look at their roster because we need to refresh our memory of the faces of these players here. We do have Muffin and Polly, both of them incredibly strong, especially Muffin.
Yeah.
We've seen her on those jet plays before. Baby TZ as well sometimes goes in for that race. So this is a team that has been around for a while. They qualified for Elite last year. They are a team that was a really good, really important contender. In fact, I think this is the only team that have defeated Alter Ego Celeste so far in a best of 3 series. They managed to kick them down to the lower bracket. Sure, they came back and won Open 3 anyway, but Open 4 anyway. But nevertheless, this is a team that has the potential, has the firepower, and is a huge contender for making it through this particular LCQ to Elite. So a team to watch out for.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, like, no matter how much struggle they've been fighting recently, they are a team that's got so much experience going into this matchup, right? They are a team that's been around basically forever when it comes to Game Changers, and they are a team that's looking, well, as you mentioned, primed and ready for this matchup because they've had a flawless run so far, right? Of course, we've yet to see how they're gonna fare up against ARF Starlight again. Another star-studded team that is newly formed here for APAC LCQ. And I've said this earlier, I'm gonna say it again. When you have a team that's made specifically for this tournament and you're fighting up against them, it's very intimidating. Just facing against that fact. And let's take a look at the team, or rather, I believe the map videos are ready here for our next 3 maps should it go into the third map. And the first one, we're going into Haven, the classic.
Yeah, and this makes perfect sense to me because it is X10's map pick. This is a map where they're incredibly strong on. They have like an 82% win rate on this, and it's honestly their strongest map in their map pool. So it's no surprise that they've gone in for this particular pick here. And I really like that they decided to ban Ascent because Ascent is one of ARF's strongest maps. I know they have like a very limited number of games that they've played, but they're really good on both Fracture and Ascent. They have had an incredibly strong performance so far, and that's probably why Arv's pick is going to be Fracture for map number 2. So I think both X10 Sapphire and Starlight have gone in for picks that are what they're comfortable on, what they're used to playing, and what they're
Yeah.
pretty confident in. So it's very likely that we are going to be seeing Icebox coming up as the decider. And yet again, both of these teams, they're pretty strong on Icebox as well. Icebox is a map where Starlight likes to run that race, so that's something that you don't really see much these days.
Mm.
And of course, I think the last time that X10 did end up playing this particular map, Icebox, they ended up going for a triple Sentinel professional comp. So yeah, it could honestly go either way. I really hope that we do get to see Icebox because it's a map that I want to see both of these teams perform on. They haven't had any prior clashes because, like you mentioned, our Starlight is a new team that has been formed, but so far they're leaning into what they're good at, the maps that they're good at, and I'm excited to see how this is going to go, especially considering Haven, because this is a
Oh
map
yeah.
that I don't think that X10 have lost this in a very, very long time. They have like a 5-time win streak. They've beaten
Mm.
teams like Bren and Big Sight all on this particular map. The only team that really they have trouble with beating on Haven is Alter
Alter
Ego, and
Ego,
even
yeah.
then it's really, really close. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find it very very interesting because in Haven there's a very particular sort of set composition when it comes to initiators, because this is where a Fade really shines, when it comes into the limelight, and because of a Fade being present, Raze is being called upon more often than not. But X10, they find so much success in Haven not running that. They go for a KO into a Sky, into a Neon, which of course give them so much of that utility, but it's not really the go-to for a lot of professional teams these days, which I absolutely love. It's very characteristic of them, and they make it work so darn well. Meanwhile, for ARF, sorry, they don't really have a lot of experience in Haven as a cohesive unit in and of itself. While they have a couple of players who are veterans and who have very much that experience that can keep up, or rather can be put toe to toe with that of the X10 members. That's where it really comes into a question of, have you adjusted to that team, right? Have you made that sort of connection that most of these veteran teams have made? Because when you go up against them, that's really gonna be a big difference maker between these two teams.
Yeah, and so far, X10, they've been, I have to say it in a very blunt way, they've been sort of slipping up so far. They were incredible during those first 3 opens. They had a bit of trouble in Open 4 where they couldn't make it to that playoff stage, and well, over time, they won like one series, I think. After that, it was
Yeah.
just nope, nothing much happening. So they have had a very, very rough couple of months so far. They really, really need to try and win this series because they have to place top 2 in LCQ to qualify for Elite. And it would be a really big shame if they didn't. But let's head into Haven right now. I think Agent Select is ready to see how this particular map is going to go and what kind of agent comps we have in mind, because X10 Sapphire on the map of Haven, they really do like running in the they really do like running Neon these days. They've run Neon quite a bit. They replaced the Jet. They used to have a lot of Jet plays coming in, but now they replace it with Neon. They go in for a double initiator, and they go in for the Sky and the KO, which is really interesting. I don't think they're really going to
Yeah.
be changing that around. Usually you see the Sky and the Breach coming in because those two work really well together, but they tend to go in for the Sky and the KO. Looking at the picks so far, though, it is going to be Ginny. Both teams are, in fact, going in for the Neon. This is
Wow.
interesting because the patch hasn't hit yet. The new patch, her ultimate is incredibly overpowered, but on this particular patch, it's still interesting
It's
that they're
decent.
going in for it. I guess her kit is really good for attacking towards Garage or even that A site. A lot of stun value. The wall is pretty good as well. Perhaps that's why they're really opting for it. It's almost a mirror comp at this point. It's just an initiator and a controller diff.
Absolutely. But speaking of initiator diff, Crescents absolutely love that breach. She finds so much impact on it every single time she puts or she uses that breach. And in Haven, that impact is absolutely amplified because of just how small this map deceptively is. Because Haven, despite looking big, it's actually small because of how small the sites are and how narrow the pathways are. Breach actually finds so much value in this map that the sort of compromise between info and utility
You're right. It does affect both info
slows
and
out,
utility there.
because well, breach just provides so darn much of that clearing potential, and when you put it at the hands of someone like Crescent, who's, well, let's face it, loves it absolutely mains this agent, it's basically an even bigger threat here for X10 Sapphire. So I'm really excited of the fact that we are going to be witnessing Crescents on that breach. Margot, though, going for the controller route instead of her signature Killjoy. I'm really excited to see this as well, because Omen has sort of ranked up, or rather rose up in the meta, particularly in maps where Fade is very, very powerful, right? I mean, in this case, sure, there is no Fade, but you've got Polly with the Gravity Well, and you've got a lot of those concusses by Muffin and by Muffin and Polly as well. So that Omen, that TP really is very, very useful in getting out of dodge in very, very clutch situations. And I can't wait to see Margot have that playstyle.
You know, one more player that we didn't really talk about is going to be Shabi, but before I fill you in on her, it's already going to be super aggressive push coming in towards the mid here with the help of that Neon Wall. They've taken so much control out right now, and they're playing so close here. So if they want to get some kind of mid control, they're going to have to deal with the roof first. Already 3 players waiting here. That knife will be spotting out Legend Queen, and she's baiting so hard right now for Rue. You know, I don't see a good way for them to really be able to clear her off that angle, and they don't want to contest mid anymore. They're just gonna be like, okay, look, we know there are at least 2 players towards this mid area. Let's just go in for an A push instead. And it's a really good call because that chamber has rendezvoused away. The site is open, and they should be able to get this fight down any second. We're looking at a full 5-on-5 retake here, and this is not very good for ARF because there's a lot of utility that is in the hands of X10 to really be able to buy some time and create some havoc. Already a triple crossfire right now towards this graffiti area. The flash from heaven isn't actually going to flash anybody. The paranoia does connect though, but the crossfire is too good here. As it's going to be Baby TZ and Polly shutting things down, bringing it down to a 1v2. Marga, only 40 HP left on her. I don't think this is going to be very possible. And she goes down through the smoke. First round going in favor of X10. And a great call coming in from their IGL to go over towards that A. Yeah. But before we head into the next one, Matt, Shabby used to play for a team called Thirst Threads, I believe. And she was one of their strongest players. She was incredible on that chamber. So the fact that she's in Starlight right now, I'm excited to see how it's going to be.
Yeah, of course, for speaking of Starlight, they didn't necessarily have the best of starts in this game, but since Sapphire, as you mentioned, amazing job there for the shot calling into the rotate into a site. Well, there was some resistance. They were able to basically bypass Shabby with all of that utility and basically swarming him in showers. Oh, ARF though, with the early aggression here in grass. Flash comes out, but there's no info. They're so close they are, but all it takes is one clip from Buff Inspector, and 4 of them immediately go down. Shabby for 1 single kill, but that's about it. That's the only thing they find out of that damage. Now in a 1v4, Shabby's got 3 more bullets in the barrel. Won't be able to get that upgrade, and he's about to get peeked by Polly here. And just like that, X10 as second round on the board.
Yep, as expected, they do manage to convert that anti-eco in their favor. They only lose 1 player while at it, so that's another bonus that really works out for them. So, yep, it is going to be the full buy right now for the side of Starlight. They really have to try and convert this. But I think a player that you really want to watch out for is Muffin, because she's only 2 away from that Neon ultimate. And when you're on that Neon, if you have a very good chance of getting into somebody's face. So with the Spectre or with that ultimate, Muffin is going to be somebody who really has to try and create the space for the side of X10 here heading into this particular pick. This time they're going to be waiting for that mid push coming through, because in a lot of these rounds, bonus rounds, the push does come in towards mid to try and do damage, but it's not going to be really happening here. They're content to play for retake. They're going to be going in for a C execute, in fact. And the crossfire is too good. Shabby finding the first already here and manages to rendezvous away. So and that's going to be Muffin going down as well. So that's going to be no more Neon utility available. At least Spike Plant does come through on this bonus. So that's something that's going in X10's favor. But they still have to hold on to this. And they're not going to be able to take any more map control either, because look at their positions. They're forced to play on site.
Yeah, everyone's so here. Because of the reinforcement on C-Link and B, the rotate is so quick for X10 Sapphire that ARF cannot push up into CT. Rue gets flashed out, but the guns are certainly going to work in their way unless Polly finds anything more out of this Spectre. Shabby for the 4K, and suddenly it's a 1v1. How did this happen? Polly finding so much with just that Spectre. Now this defuse will not get defused. And Polly turns it around. X10 Sapphire, 3rd round on the board, and Starlight, they get denied of the bonus.
That was insane coming in from X10, and you know, I pointed out that they weren't taking any more map control and they were forced to play on site. Well, that worked out in their favor, because when you're in angles, when you're playing up close with those Spectres, they can be absolutely devastating, as Polly just demonstrated to us. We got a point of view demonstration there, Matt, as to why exactly you don't want to get close with those Spectres when you have a Vandal. But off the back of that, it's going to be an eco for Starlight. They don't have much else. They have Shabby's Sword of Force. They are going to be investing it towards that C-long area, and it seems like X10 is aware of that possibility. Baby TZ has also invested in this operator, and that's a shot coming out. So Starlight now are aware that there is an operator online for X10. They're not going to be peeking in without a flasher. Honestly, they're probably not going to be peeking in at all. In the meantime, X10 yet again, they're going to be playing towards this default here. You already see Polly pushing up all the way towards that cubby on C long, waiting for some kind of aggression coming in, or just waiting for the rest of her team to gain some information as to where exactly people are playing. It seems like it is going to be a C push coming through eventually, yet again through that garage area though, and it's going to be Shabby who has to somehow try and stop this kind of push coming through, because she's going to be the only anchor on that C site here.
Yeah, a lot of respect being paid here by X10 Sapphire.
Oh no.
They have to commit sometime soon, and they pull the trigger now on the null command. There goes the neon double walls as well, and just like that, they're into sight. But
Spike planted.
they won't be able to get any more control over into the defender side spawn either, but the positions are going to be there. Don't have any info as of yet on where they're both going to be coming from. They have two angles to watch out for, and they have flank covered. There you go, the first contact, Crescent's falls. Polly looking for more as she actually secures the kill onto Margot, and who gets a beautiful headshot, but not going to be able to permit the upgrades to come in as Alyssa peeks out. Smoke dissipates. Actually, it's a little bit of a scary prospect, but Baby still secures the kill. And X10 Sapphire secure the round without really finding a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's just a bit awkward, but nevertheless, the round does work out for X10 as expected. They did have the full buy, and I love that they had that null command ready to go. They knew that the Tour de Force was a possible. They just preemptively pop it before they even rush in. So that in turn is going to trigger a timeout, I believe, for the side of the defenders. It's going to be Starlight who are calling it. And this is a really good time to call it, because right now the momentum is clearly in the favor of X10 here. They are 4-0 ahead, and this is their full buy. So they have to come up with a battle plan that is going to somehow prevent X10 from running away with the lead here, as they have done so far. Ultimates-wise, there's not much in the pocket for Starlight, though.
But
Margot is only one away from that from the shadows. But
yeah,
look at Sapphire, they are stacked.
look at Polly, already has the Cosmic Divide up, and these are just has always been the case for Polly and Muffin. They've always going to be on the top of the leaderboard, and you would typically expect an Aster to play back, right, and lean more towards that utility, less towards the fragging. But Polly is just juggling all of those responsibilities and doing amazingly at that. Now she's got the ult up, and the retake here, or rather the side takes, are looking pretty done and dandy with the Cosmic Divide prospect up. I mean, of course, the operator is going to be in the hands of Shabby. We're going to be reinforcing A site for now, and it seems like XNS, they're going to be all aware of that. They know that ARF can afford that up. The chamber versus chamber, they might find each other, and it's gonna be Shabby to win it. Baby C falls.
That is an important pick, but right now it gives away the information that ARF's operator is playing towards the A side. So yet again, we might see a possible rotation coming in towards Garage, but instead, X10 are going to be taking the opposite strat. They're like, look, we know where the operator is. We have a lot of flashes. We have a lot of stuns. We have a utility that can completely take care of it, and we might just go towards A instead. I don't know if this is a really good call, because Shabby, she's playing an angle that is very, very hard to clear. The Trailblazer does not exactly hit the right angle either. It's not going to spot her, and she's going to be able to walk away with 2 picks. Still playing towards this A side here, and she's gonna be in the position of heaven right now with Polly going down. They have no smokes available, so that's gonna be taking this side, it's gonna make taking this side incredibly tough right now. Shabby still holding on to this heaven angle, trying to anchor it down. The stuns do at least keep her at bay right now, but a 3v5 is gonna be the case here. Make that a 3v4 as Margot gets a little bit too greedy and goes running into a crossfire. The spike does go down, and the retake is on, but the operator, it's still available, and Shabby, she's looking to make it sink.
A critical mistake there where Margot means they don't have any smokes, but they're still making it work unless Muffin finds anything more. And those 2 kills are going to be enough for the 1v1 now. She's not going to be able to pull through. ARF, they will be able to secure their first round on the board. And again, I have to question that decision from Margot to go in. Because of that one mistake, Margot fell down, and they didn't have any smokes for the retake, which was absolutely essential, especially because of just how frag heavy this composition is for X10S. Fortunately, they were able to bounce back from it, but oh, so close here. Could have been a little bit cleaner for ARF, but round is around here, Zach.
Yeah, I think one more thing that I really they have first of all heading into this round they have 3 ultimates available, so ARF are gonna be feeling a bit more confident. They have that operator, they have the Rolling Thunder, and they also have the Seeker. So a lot of information is available if they want to play in for that retake. But I think it's a testament to the experience from X10 that they were still able to aggress onto that side even though they lost their controller. You saw
yeah.
Muffin putting down the wall, throwing those stuns towards heaven to keep Shabi from peeking, and off the back of that, they almost convert that 3v5. Insane. That's where the experience really shines through.
Exactly.
But heading into this round, it's gonna be yet again some patience coming in here as they go for the A side. And look at this, they're just gonna be playing for the retake. They know they have the Rolling Thunder and the Seekers, so they're just gonna be holding on to try and wait before they really head in. Alyssa does pop those Seekers, so it's gonna give away information that the site is basically free for the taking. And Matt, we're looking at a full 5-on-5 retake. Holy.
Yeah. Shabi's got the op though, and a couple of Spectres in the hands of ARF means it's gonna be a bit of a trouble getting into sight. First Polly from behind, not accounting for the fact that there's 2 members right in front of her. Baby C sings with her own operator in that regard. 3v2 now as Muffin and Alyssa, the last 2 standing members for X10 Sapphire. They will be able to get legit Queen too. So now the prospect is looking all the more possible. The Fuse is gonna get stuck here unless they push up. But the operator not looking at the proper angle at the moment, and Alyssa secure the final kill. 3k in the pocket as well as they retrieve the op. X10 Sapphire immediately denied the second round from ARF.
I think it was really unfortunate that Shabi didn't have the information that both the players pushed all the way into the CT area there, because if she had just held that crossing, the defuse could have just been stuck by Margot. But either way, a really good round coming in from X10. You gotta give them credit where it's due, and they wait for information. Once they know that a particular angle or a particular area is vulnerable, they just hammer at it with all of their players. You don't see much in the way of lurks coming through, and after that loss, it's going to be an equal right now coming in for Starlight here. They do have that Neon ultimate if they want to really invest it, but apart from that, they almost have nothing available that they can really use here. Both Shabi and Rue are gonna have to go huge in this particular round, and that's where Ginny has been proving instrumental. She's being able to shut down the utility coming in from the chamber, as well as any of the other players on ARF so efficiently here. Baby TZ already finding Rue, so that's gonna be no more Neon ults available for the side of ARF. And look at Muffin's position. She's come so far and she's playing so dangerously here, being able to find one through the smoke, and she slides past the chamber. I don't know what that interaction is, but she knows the position of both these players right now. And the rest of the team, they're just gonna be going for that A side. It's all down to just Shabi. 15 HP left. We'll be able to retrieve a Vandal, but that's gonna be all that she gets here. As with the 3k, Baby TZ is able to push X10 up to 6. But that was the most awkward interaction I've seen today, Matt. Holy.
Yeah, they didn't see each other. I think I just wait. What? Did something hit me? And then yeah, and then it was just. But then ARF really struggling to find even damage in that. I mean, you would expect in that encounter that Muffin will get punished immediately, right? But Muffin just at a different level right now. Technical pause comes in, folks. Again, have to apologize because of the issues we are facing right now, technical wise. But yeah, that's just the way of things right now. I mean, I really can't wait, Zach, for LAN tournaments to be back. Can't wait to meet everyone. I can't wait to meet you and the players as well. Like I miss live crowds. And you know what? A fun fact, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I have never casted on site. Have you?
Hey, you know a fun fact? Me neither.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm sure we'll.
we'll.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get our chance, especially with while we wait for this technical pause to go through. I'm sure that you saw the exciting news that came out yesterday from Riot. Where they filled us in about the VCT format next year. APAC has like 10 tournaments coming up, and I'm sure that the finals for a lot of these events are going to be LAN qualifiers. So that you might just get your chance at VCT PH next year or VRL PH next year. I don't know what it's going to be called, but I'm sure that they will pick you up. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Hey, fingers crossed. Maybe you too. What's a VCT called in Spain? Is it EMEA or
it comes under EMEA. It's South.
Of course.
Yeah, it's South Europe, Southern Europe, I believe. I don't know yet, but I would still love to do South Asia because these are the teams that I've
Oh
been
yeah,
covering for a pretty long time. So, but let's not count our chickens yet. But
before the
there,
yeah yeah
I just
okay.
brought it up because a lot of LAN tournaments coming up next year. So I'm pretty sure that someday we might meet on stage pretty soon.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully,
oh
fingers
yeah.
crossed.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we will. Pretty sure we will. At some point across the road, we will. But as fact of the matter is, right now we are in this setup, which is why we are faced with such issues. But Starlight, they're facing their own issues right now. Of course, some of those will be resolved in terms of money. They have enough in the bank for just this one buy. And Shabby on the Tour de Force. Everything on the line, though. They are investing everything into this round, Zach. They don't want to, rather, they're not really holding anything back. But if they lose this round, well, they lose everything.
Yeah, it's gonna make things so much more rougher right now, as it'll just let the side of X10 run away with it. But you never know, because last time around we were looking at something very very similar, Matt, on Bind, and they still managed to make the comeback. So ARF might be able to do the same, but the aggression is coming in right now. The ultimate has been popped, and oh no, baby TC is gonna be stuck between a breach a breach utility and a hard place there, as she gets absolutely taken down here. Shabby as well with the tour de force here, doing so much damage, and yet again the tour de force is going to be shut down by that null command here.
Yeah.
Ginny being able to take that side off the back of that ultimate. Muffin also does have her ability available, but look at the flank coming in already. Two players pushing in towards the short area, and Jenny doing her best to desperately deal with them, pushing on aggressively, but it gets too aggressive as Root shuts her down. Just two players left right now for the side of X10 here. Muffin from heaven though, falling in like an avenging angel, but not finding anything. And Starlight, they finally make the round work out, one that they really really needed, and it's all off the back of that flank. Ginny got too aggressive there.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea. They were at the 3v5, and he did see one member getting flashed out, but we're not accounting for the fact that Rue was there as well in the same corner. So when she got double swung, immediately got punished for it. And look at the swing again for Margot. She just went to town with that Vandal, swung the full 180. No, not 90 degrees, and then like perform like sweeped. Is that a proper word? Swept? Ah, there you go. Swept. Sorry, my
We
English.
just went through the entire conjugation. Good job. You can sign up for grammar lessons. Not from me.
Oh, sorry.
Grammarly.
Not an ad, by the way, guys. This is not an ad.
We're not
You know what?
sponsored
You know
by
what?
Grammarly.
Let's not.
We should clip this and send it to them so that we can say that. But we can say like, hey, look, we're sponsoring you on VCT. You should totally give us a bit of a bonus there. But jokes apart, anyway, X10, they're gonna be calling a timeout, and I think that it's not a question of it's not just them planning out what they want to do the next round. It's also about them preventing Starlight from getting any kind of momentum. They're like, yeah, you won a round, but you know what? We're gonna call a timeout just now and completely put a stop to it. Looking at the economy, it is very very healthy still for the side of X10. But Starlight, they're gonna be able to buy in an operator this time around. Baby TZ, we've seen her with an operator the last 3 or 4 rounds, and she has a tour of force online, so she's finally gonna be using it. So it's gonna come down to yet again a chamber versus chamber battle this time around. Who will win? So far, I'm keeping track. It's been Abby who's finding the most value so far. Yet again, pushing out through him, and she's gonna be able to spot out the Astra. But oh, that's gonna be Muffin popping that ultimate and just running into B off the back of it at full speed, just spraying through the smoke, and it's gonna be a 5-on-5 retake yet again on this B side.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was fast.
Nice change of pace here for X10 Sapphire. They decide to pull the trigger in B as the up shot resounds. The tour de force at that Rue falls down. Margot finds one of her own. But look at the positioning. It's so aggressive from X10 Sapphire. So much presence in the site itself that Shabby might not be prepared for this crossfire on both left and right angles. And there you go. This the Vandals sing, and one by one, ARF fall like flies. Smoke has cleared. The Jit Queen is the last woman standing. Tour de force against her on top of those double peaks, and I don't think X10 want to risk it any further. Baby is the last one looking, and she will be the last to get a kill. X10 Sapphire 7-2. They make a B site work.
Yeah, I think the timeout it was just Muffin saying, "Look, I got my ult. Run with me. Can we just run it together?" And yeah, the B side just goes down. It was open for the taking, and they just couldn't retake it. Especially that crossfire being held, like you mentioned, Matt, between Alyssa and Muffin.
Mm,
They just could not get through. That was a meat grinder right there. As three
yeah.
players fall to their guns in between. And yet again, the economy collapses for ARF Starlight. They have absolutely nothing in the bank. Crescents will be able to afford that Hero Spectre, but that's going to be all that they really have online here. As X10, they've switched gears right now. They're in high gear, so as to speak, as they run into this A side this time around. It is going to be Rue falling back here because she doesn't want to risk taking that battle. 3 players on this A side, and they are also going to be popping those Seekers, so they're going to know exactly where these players are. 2 picks already coming through. Crescent finds 1, but that's going to be all they find before the A side is laid open, and it's just 2 players for ARF who have to somehow retake this. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, Sapphire just completely swarmed the site once more, and it's been a recurring theme towards this game, right? X10 Sapphire, if they take control of site, it's very rare that ARF can make the retake happen. And even if they did, even if they put X10 Sapphire at a numbers disadvantage, they still find a way to make it look like a 50-50. And of course, things are different now with just the classics in the hands of ARF, but the next round, see what's about to happen. Shabby about to peek out again, another meat grinder set up here, and Alyssa for the final kill. X10 Sapphire, we criticized them a lot about having a bit of a rough patch in the past couple of months, Zach, but if this match is of any evidence, they're looking good.
They are looking good. Good is an understatement at this point. I think, but to be fair, it is Haven. It is their favorite map to play on, so you can't be completely sure that it's going to be the same case heading into map number 2, which is Fracture, because I'll tell you this, Fracture is not really their favorite map. They have a very 50-50 rate, and the last time around that they played Thirst Shreds on this map, they lost. So Shabby is still here. Shabby was one of the main reasons they lost on Fracture, so she's still here for the side of ARF Starlight. This time, though, it's going to be Muffin who shuts her down, saying, "Look, I'm going to be able to flick fast enough that you won't be able to take me down." And she opens up the C site just like that. They still do have that Rolling Thunder, but Crescent is not going to be investing it this time around. I think they're saving it for the retake instead. And oh, look at this ratty position from Baby TZ. Oh god, this is incredibly scary right now. I don't want to look.
Yeah. And Crescent's. There's 2 people
Lord.
there. Crescent. She spots the barrel and she doesn't get taken out. How does that work like that? Thankfully, Margot coming in from the doors. No Command is making it hard for them to go in, but once that dissipates, the smokes are gonna come out. And Rue as well. He finds Polly. Backside not clear. The Seekers helping them out on this 2v4, but ARF, they can't hold the line. Of course, they pick one up, but Ginny, the last woman standing, she will pick up one. Smoke making it hard, but the time is of the essence, and it's running away. There you have it, X10 Sapphire 2v4, and they still make it happen, Zach. How'd they do
Oh,
that?
she should have stuck it. She should have stuck it. I think the key word for X10 that's really winning them these rounds is Crossfire. They are holding these with such aplomb here. Sure, in Garage didn't work out this time around, but both Muffin and Ginny just wreak absolute havoc here, holding on to this and buying so much time. Like, even if the numerical advantage was with Starlight there, they just weren't able to convert it, and yet again, it's going to be a broken buy coming in. They can't equal it because it's the last round and the half. But you're going to be seeing light armor, you're going to be seeing a couple of guardians, I think, and of course a Spectre. So not economically, things are looking great right now, as yet again Muffin is just full tilt running into the seaside right now. She does not care. She's playing this like how I play my unrated games, and she's finding so much value right now. Already 2 players being taken down towards this area. The trademark going off is going to tell them that a flank is through, and Rue, well, she has to clear out this angle. Baby TZ is the first obstacle she'll have to face. She succeeds, but gets a little bit too happy as she pushes in. It's going to come down to a 2v2 right now. Yet again, Muffin and Ginny in the situation. The same crossfire. This time around, though, it's going to come down to a 1v1. Just Ginny, can she close this out? 10-2, or is it going to be a 9-3 half yet again? Shabby sticks half, though. She doesn't care. She's going to be able to get it, but only 5 HP left on her. Ginny with a 4K is gonna get it to a 10-2 half, and man, X10 are looking good right now.
Yeah, 10-2. How much worse can it get here for Starlight? And Muffin has been everywhere this game. She's been opening up sites like like opening up a can of tuna. I don't even know what it's like, but no matter how many deaths Muffin gets, it's almost a certainty that she finds something with it, whether she opens up the site or she sets up a teammate for a kill, or she gets those kills herself. I mean, no matter what position you put Muffin in, it seems like on the attack, once she just goes. Zach and X10 Sapphire, of course, they are right back there behind her, waiting for you to make that mistake. And what can I say? Every single time they decide to execute, it seems like there's no answer from Starlight. They tried retaking, they tried holding the line, and every single time Sapphire they come out on top, and it's just it's amazing. It's amazing here from Sapphire.
Yeah, Muffin, really someone to watch, someone to watch out for, or well, not watch out for. You know how Neon says, "Go, go, go!" That's exactly how she's been doing this. That's what she's been doing this entire
That's
game.
true.
She's just been running full on into sight, and there are at least two of her teammates behind her. So even if she goes down, they're gonna get the side of the trade. So, I mean, not that that's the case, because she always manages to somehow get that first frag a lot of the times around. In fact, I think out of the 2 rounds which ARF Starlight managed to win, one of them was off the back of Shabby getting a 2K with the operator right on the onset, and even then they almost lost that 3v5 retake. And another round, well, they managed to use quite a bit of ultimates to be able to do it, but even the rounds which they won, they didn't win them in a very convincing fashion. It was incredibly close. On the other hand, though, X10, they're looking supercharged, they're looking extremely confident, and they are just able to take so much space right now with the
Exactly.
kind of agent comp they're running. Especially that KO, it's been proving so important because it shuts down any kind of utility coming in. Especially so many times we've seen the Chamber Rendezvous or the Tour de Force being absolutely shut down by Genie's utility, whether it's the ultimate or whether it's the 0 points. So that KO pick, it is devastating right now for the side of ARF Starlight.
Yeah, gotta give commends to Polly as well. She's been setting up a lot of these plays that's Muffin is making all across the map. And of course, the utility from the KO is going to be there. But Polly just has been also on point at getting the right timings of the smoke, the concussors, and the gravity wells. That now that they're all going to the defending side, that's going to be of even bigger importance, because that is basically the most defense that they have. Polly on the Astra, they don't have a hard sentinel. Remember, only Baby on the Chamber, which, let's face it, is not a sentinel. even though Chamber is a sentinel, he is basically not. But the different thing now is that X10S, they're gonna be forced to play back a little bit. I mean, they can still play aggressively, but if they play as aggressively as they did on the attack, they might get punished for it unless they weed out the spike like this.
Oh, the spike is dropped in such an awkward spot right
Everyone's
now.
there.
Yeah, everyone's just sitting on it. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna switch sides. We're gonna be the attackers now. You guys can defend garage. It's okay. And this is really, really bad right now for ARF, because for any chance of a comeback in this particular game, they need to convert this pistol somehow. But X10, they have it locked down. Baby TZ holding down this garage area. If this player pushes through, they're probably gonna fall down to it, but Margot luckily checks it, so that is at least one pick that goes in their favor. But the spike is still in windows, so they have to get it back. 50 seconds left of the clock, and they have a lot of things to clear out here. But Legend Queen and Rue are both able to find picks. So important. Margot pushing forward as well. Just these 2 players left right now from X10. Muffin finding one. Alyssa and Muffin clean it up. And that is going to be the 11th round for the side of X10 here. With that spike being dropped, the rotation from that A side was so quick. Everybody just came and just held on to it. Like, you're not getting the spike back. You can't plant. You can't win. And that's what happens.
And again, Zach, X10's Sapphire it was a 2v4, and they still win the round. They're so good at these, I want to call them group clutches, like couple clutches, or I don't know, buddy system clutches, because even though you put them at disadvantage, it's seemingly not enough here for X10 Sapphire. And Starlight, what can you do when you're at that position? It's mind-boggling just how well X10 Sapphire performs under those types of scenarios. That if you put them at a spot like this, where they have the guns and they can be aggressive, you know for a fact that they will, and they're gonna get those kills. I mean, look at Muffin, already gotten one. Alyssa right beside her. Margot will be getting a trade, but Muffin not yet done. Finally getting shut down by Rue, but she's the last woman standing, and there's so many people closing in on her. X10 Sapphire now on match point, and they're looking to close the gates right now.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that they will. Sure, you will see the force, of course, coming through. I'm sorry, the full buy coming through, of course, for Starlight. But I think X10, they're feeling confident enough to actually play this as a bonus. And last time around, they played a bonus, they managed to win. So I think it's a possibility. Sure, X10 might be losing this one. They might be willing to let this one slide, but the comeback is looking like a very, very rough road right now for Starlight. They're gonna have to win 10 rounds in a row starting from this point to be able to take this to overtime. And I just don't think that's going to be a possibility so far because Shabi, she's the only player who's really been able to take these head-on-head aim battles with with the X10 Sapphire players. Everybody else head-on-head, they're losing their battles except for Shabi. And, you know, you can't just expect Shabi to carry them all the way to overtime here. Unless they step up huge, it's going to be really, really rough right now for these Starlight players. Already, like you mentioned, Polly putting down these stars as making garage pushes so hard. And look at the stack from X10 Sapphire. They're gonna be I think they're gonna be pushing down towards the down C in fact. So this could go either really, really well or really, really badly. Oh no, I'm scared.
Wait and see. I'll have to wait and see here, Zach. 3 people push in C site and they're making it oh so quietly. Shabby might not prepared for this. The flash comes out and Shabby still gets a swing off. Crescent finds one as well for the 2-1 trade, and he swings out.
Spike down.
But curiously so with the flash. Spike is so close, and Ginny doesn't have the same gun, but does have a sheriff. Finds 2 immediately, and the next one on the chopping block gonna be Margot. But at this point, it's a 1v1, Zach. Still anyone's game, because all it takes is one headshot.
Oh, this is so scary right now. 1v1 like you mentioned, and Baby TZ with the Marshall. Oh, the smoke goes at the worst time. Baby TZ caught in the open, almost flicks onto Margot, but she is still able to close it out. And ARF Starlight, they stay alive for now. However, that was such an expensive round for them. They lose 4 of their players, 4 rifles down, and they still have to win. And I don't know how Ginny got to here. She should not have been allowed to do that much damage. Nevertheless, though, it does seem like AR Starlight holds on for another round. The full buy, though, it's in for Sapphire, and they are looking to close things out. They're hungry for this win.
Need a drop.
And when the smoke dissipated, I almost had a heart attack there. But X10 Sapphire, again, they have the full arsenal this time, because remember, that was round number 3. For those of you who are wondering what round that was a round where X10 Sapphire supposedly had no business winning. Look at where we are right now. Look at the damage they did onto the economy of Starlight. And, well, they don't want anything to do with Seaside this time, which is a pretty good call. 3 people down there.
Yeah, I would not want to walk into Baby TZ or Ginny there. It does seem like they're going to be going in for the A push instead, but look at Muffin already pushed up towards the short angle, holding that headshot position. We'll be spotting out 3 players, and yep, that's going to be her falling back here. The Neon ultimate is popped by Rue here, so they will have to contend with her instead. Muffin, though, she's going to be trying to stop this as much as possible, and yep, the KO is going to stop that Neon util, and they don't check the corner, so that's going to be Rue shut down instantaneously already. The advantage sliding towards X10 here, and look at the rotation coming in. It was so fast. 3 players already have come over towards this A site, and more than that, though, they have actually 4 almost, because the Astra is also available if they need to. With 30 seconds left, they have to make a call now. Do they rotate over to see they do have the From the Shadows, or do they still try to go in for this A come in here? The answer does seem to be that they want to go in for this A side, but it's gonna be incredibly tough right now, because with 3 players on this particular side, it's impossible. Last minute rotation from the Shadows is invested in Margot. It's gonna be going towards C long and planting it for long, so at least that's gonna be going in her favor. But she doesn't get it down! She doesn't get it down! There's no time! And X10, they're gonna be closing out their map pick 13-3. Oh no, that is so unfortunate.
X10 Sapphire, 13-3. Just how clean could you get in this matchup? I mean, Zach, we talked a lot about how X10 Sapphire has been having a rough patch. Well, it seems like it's done. It seems like they're just shrugging it off now, and they're back on full form, and Starlight just at the receiving end of it. X10 Sapphire, what was that? Muffin, what was that? What was happening towards that entire game? And every single time, no matter when it comes down to it, it's just the fights. It's always X versus X, even if Sapphire was at the lower number in that X versus X fight, they still win the game, the round. It's seemingly like 70%, 80%, 90% of the time. And it all boils down into fundamentals, but what a blow that was to Starlight. I can't wait to see next map if Fracture is going to be a different story. And I believe the scoreboard is ready now. I wonder who the MVP is, Zach.
It's
I
totally not
wonder.
Muffin. Totally not. Like, I can't be Muffin. No way it's Muffin. I'm kidding. It is Muffin, of course. MVP, 20 kills to her name. And when it's in like 16 rounds, 20 kills is pretty insane. And, you know, it's not just the number of kills, right? Like we mentioned, she creates so much space, and that's the value of the Neon. But I think for me, while Muffin is the overt hero for X10, the real hero for me is going to be Ginny here, because just her utility had so much impact. Every single time she popped her ult or she threw down that 0 point, it hit somebody. So many rounds they were able to get onto site just off the back of the utility coming in from these two players, and I love this combo that they have running. Meanwhile, for the side of ARF, it is going to be Shabi who's the MVP. She did her best, but it's not going to be enough. And unfortunately, that last round, it's still like haunting me right now. I can't imagine how much it's haunting these players.
Yeah.
If Margot had planted just a little bit safer, they would have had the plant. They would have had that round.
Yeah, exactly. And they waited the last second too to pull the trigger on the Omen ult. Still didn't work. Still wasn't enough because Baby was so quick on her feet. And take a look at some more stats here. Look at the damage done for X10. It's 3.5 thousand more than it's just 11 frag wins to 11 compared to 1. It just goes to show you how mechanically gifted and how heavy the firepower is with this squad, and why they are a team that is worthy and are proving to be worthy of that spot. I mean, Starlight, I mean, I know the story is not done, but they have to climb Mount Everest to stand a chance against the giants they're facing.
Well, if they're climbing Mount Everest, at least it's on a map which they've picked, which is gonna
That's
be
true.
Fracture. But before we head into Fracture, we are gonna be taking a short break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with LCQ. And yeah, don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, folks. You're still watching the VCT Game Changers APAC LCQ. Datum and Zach, still your casters for this matchup, and we're down to our second matchup of the day, second game of that second matchup. And I'm feeling very, very excited for this one because we're seeing the first fracture of the night. But man, what a performance from Sapphire in that first game.
Oh yeah, 13-3. That's no joke. Heading in, and I think after that beating, Starlight, they're gonna be feeling a little bit bruised, but it's not over for them yet because this is gonna be Fracture, like you mentioned. It's their match pick, and I think so far over the course of this tournament, they've played it twice and they've won every single time. So I know 2 out of 2 ain't much, but it is something, and that is something that they're definitely banking on. X10 though, this is a map where they have a sort of hate-love relationship. It works out sometimes for them, it doesn't work out sometimes for them. They beaten Alter Ego, but they've also lost to Thirst Threads, and we have X-Thirst Thread Shabi here, like we previously mentioned. So I'm not feeling too confident about such a dominant performance as we saw the last time around. But I think that this is a map that could definitely go either way, even though it is Starlight's pick, and they will have to try and win it to take us to a map 3, to take us to Icebox, that decider map. Otherwise, we're looking at yet another 2-0, and they have to get their mantle back into shape because they have to figure out what exactly they're doing. They can't let X10 run away with the momentum, and they will have to take care of that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the first game performance from Sapphire really is bound to that comfort of being in their comfort map. But in Fracture, even though statistically they are the team with a lower percentage, they still have a little bit more, I want to say, experience in that map compared to Starlight. I mean, in Game Changers at least. So that's still a defining factor here. I mean, sure, when you take a closer look at those games, Starlight, they really have seemingly found their proper composition here. They love playing a breach into a neon, into a chamber. So very, very defined rules for them, very defined roles rather for them. And I can't wait to see just how they're going to pull it off against X10 Sapphire. But taking a look at just how these two teams sort of played their most recent Fracture maps, it's not that far off. They played very, very similarly. I mean, they run the same composition, and they have a very, very similar tempo of approaching both attack on defense. So yeah, I completely agree with you. This might be a closer one.
Yeah, I think that this is a map where X10 they're not exactly super confident. They don't even the matches with which they win, they're kind of close. Like they're like 13-8 or 13-10s on this particular map. So it's a map that they're good on, but it's still something that could go either way. So Starlight on the other hand, they've played this twice so far during the course of this tournament, and both of the times they've managed to close it out 13-2. So while they played against teams that were not, of course, X10, they're not as competitive as X10, seeing that they haven't made it through this tournament. They have quite a fight on their hands. So let's head right into Agent Selects and see what exactly Fracture has in store for us, because I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. Right now, it is the case that ARF Starlight, they're one map behind. They're in a do or die position. They have to win this to keep their dreams of moving ahead in the upper bracket alive. Because if they don't, guess what? They're moving down to the lower bracket. They still have another chance, so it's not
Yeah.
entirely over, but it's still rough right now. So looking at the Asian picks coming through, they're gonna be going in for a very defensive comp, I would say, which is kind of surprising because on that attack, uh, it's just interesting to see that both of these teams have gotten for the Sage. It's not exactly what you'd call a
Yeah.
meta pick, but it gives them a lot of flexibility, especially on that attack. It's very nice when you want to get that plant down. It can cut off a lot of angles, and it can buy just solid 30 seconds when you're on defense as well. So I think the main difference is going to come down to the duelist here. It's going to be Rue on that Raze versus Baby TZ this time on that Neon. And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm surprised by this because they've swapped the Neon and the Chamber from last time around, Matt.
Yeah. And one thing that I'd like to point out, though, both teams really like playing the sort of information drought kind of playstyle. I mean, of course, it's kind of understandable with the case of Crescents because it's her favorite, it's her comfort agent. But I would love to see something like a Fade here. Fade is an absolutely amazing choice here in Fractured. It gives a lot of options, especially comboed with Erase, such is the case right now in the current matchup. So just something that I thought I'd point out as well is that having a Neon in this map has sort of fallen off, right? More often than not, we see raises that sort of take over because of the fact that you don't really have that information. Raise can provide a little bit of information with that one boombot, so that's one of the things that ARF has got going for them that X10 Sapphire don't. And well, this time Muffin will not be going for the Neon, so I'm excited to see how Baby is going to perform as this dedicated duelist.
Yeah, it's gonna be in this though, it's gonna be the A site that seems to be under attack here as four players are waiting right outside for possible aggression coming in from the side of the defenders here. Already you see Baby TZ pushed up all the way to the orb. If she goes further, she's gonna have a huge welcome party waiting for her. Already though, they're aware that this might be the case, and they're gonna be concussing and then pushing in off the back of that. The nade doing so much
Wow,
damage,
Baby.
and Baby TZ is just able to clean them. Sorry, the nade not really finding anything, and Baby TZ is just gonna be able to clean up. Already two people falling down on this particular angle. At least they still have control of the spike, but they seems like they want to
They
avenge
want to
their fallen
contest.
comrades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a good idea, Matt.
Yeah, they want to fight Baby here, but the crossfire is just too good. Three people already rotated towards a mid, but Shabby picks two of them off. Baby still has got the dash. There's the slide. And there you have it. It goes for the instant punish against Shabby. And amazing start here for the Neon. You know what? I'm seeing a trend here, Zach. Pick Neon, dominate the game, and win for Sapphire. And this time in the hands of Baby too, not Muffin. And they still find success with it. It's amazing for X10 Sapphire. It seemingly just defines their characteristic of playing fast and aggressive. And on the defense, on the offense, it seems like it doesn't matter. They will find and kill you.
Yeah, that is going to be indeed the case here. And heading into this round, though, it is going to be the anti-eco right now. The full buy coming in for Extend. They have these weapon advantages already. Muffin finding so much value though off this Marshall getting two, and that's going to be the spike dropped as well. The slow orb is making things even worse. If they're still peeking that angle and they try to move forward, well, that's going to be more kills for Muffin right there. I think she also managed to get a bit of a through shot here because Crescent is quite tagged up. So anyway, And in the meantime, so from that A side, both Polly as well as Baby TZ have pushed all the way up into the spawn. So they're stuck between all of these players from X10. And unless they manage to hit some miraculous shots, I think this round is basically over.
Oh,
there you go,
speaking
though.
of miraculous shots, Shabby
There you go.
steps up to the plate. I mean, of course, she does get concussed for Ginny to capitalize. Coming in from behind, Baby will not be finding anything because Alyssa's already swept up the feet of ARF. Now, this is where things started to well, go sideways last game for ARF when round number 3 commenced and they didn't win the round. It's looking a lot like last game already, just the way it started. But let's see if the aggression is going to be geared towards A main or in B main. It seems like it's a 4-stack down in A, 2 members again, so very similar to the pistol setup here for Baby and Polly. And again, it seems like they got the right read off. The short angles. Oh, that one shot actually gonna signal Starlight to back off a little bit. And that actually might have botched this aggression from X10.
Yeah, it's gonna slow things down quite a bit here. The bonus is going to be there for the side of X10, and Baby TZ already pushed up so far ahead. With that Spectre, she has to be in that kind of range to really have a lot of value, and I think she realizes that. In the meantime, though, the Spike is slowly making its way towards this B side here. And the thing is, there's only one player who's really holding onto it because it's a 4-stack towards that A side, like you mentioned. And it's all down to just the chamber here. Muffin has to do a lot of work. She is holding an angle where she can have quite a bit of impact, but the stun hits her at exactly the right time, and they're gonna have to play for a full-on 5v5 retake here, as a Spike should be going down any second. It is the bonus, so any kind of weapons that they can get off the hands of these ARF players, it's gonna be everything you need already. Baby TZ on the flank, able to find Shabby here. That's going to be the chamber offline, and the remaining players, they're gonna be trapped on site and towards that tower area, so they're gonna have to clear out all of these. Meanwhile, everybody else is on the flank, and that beautiful stun is hitting both of these players. Oh lord, that is insane right now. Alyssa trying to just stick the defuse here, already has half, almost has it completed. Legend Queen, the last hope of this team, but the defuse is done. She might get the kills, but it doesn't matter. It's still gonna be the 3rd round. The bonus yet again going in favor of X10, the same as Haven. And oh no, this is not a good look for ARF Starlight at all.
Definitely not. You can see them shaken up. They're playing very, very reservedly, refusing to take the fights. I mean, sure, there was utility getting thrown at them from everywhere, but when you have the gun advantage like that, you're gonna have to want to take those fights. And if you don't, well, they're just gonna come running at you. And Exhibit A, Baby TZ, she does that every single time. Like, even now, look, even now that she knows that she's got the bigger guns, she's gonna go in still, and that's just the confidence that is missing right now from ARF.
Confidence is key here, and you know who has it in spades? That's no one else than Baby TZ. Shabby, though, this time, she's not doing too shabby at all. So far, I think she's had the most impact for her team, whether it's with the Headhunter or this time with the Tour de Force. With the first pick going in their favor, it seems like they want to go towards the opposite side, but this might not be the best idea because you yet again have that 3-stack coming in. Oh, but that shot from Rue was absolutely impeccable, bringing things back to an even footing here. And Polly, well, she's going to be falling back. She's managed to even out the score here. Off the back of that, they're going to be yet again rotating over towards this B side, this time which is completely empty. It's open for the taking, and they should be able to pick up a rifle as well, so things aren't looking too bad right now in the ARF camp. As long as they can get the spike down and manage to play post-plant successfully, it might be exactly what they need. They don't have Margot's orbital strike, but they still have Shabby on that Tour de Force, and she has a heavy burden on her soldier here because this round is possibly hinging on her shoulders here. Polly, though, she's got to be shutting that down, and it's going to come down to a 2v2.
Yeah, a pivotal shot there, unable to connect, means that it's now down a 2v1. There is going to be a Molly lineup, but Alyssa, she's ready for this position from Legit Queen, and she's going to capitalize so well. To the 4-0 on the board. That looked a little bit scary there with Shabby shots, but that one shot that she had to hit against Polly and she didn't, that really was it was game changing there for X10 Sapphire. And this time Starlight again on the gun, so I would want them to play a little bit less reservedly, a little bit more towards that confident side. But if you see just how well Baby and Ginny just positions those concusses, it always hits at least 2 members from ARF. I mean, at this point, I can't blame ARF from playing back because the utility usage from Sapphire has just been next level here.
Yeah, it's looking incredibly rough right now. This is their full buy though, so ARF Sapphire will they will I'm sorry, ARF Starlight, they have to try and convert this because they're in the danger of having the same outcome as what happened on Haven. They were in a very similar position this time around, so they need to try and stop the momentum here. A timeout would be a great idea right
Yeah,
now. Would have been a great idea, but they're just gonna go forward with their battle plan. They do have some ultimates at least. They have that orbital strike, and they're gonna be using it right now to try and have some damage done. But it's not gonna matter for much because Baby TZ is gonna be able to get 2 picks. This 3-stack towards A main is just proving impossible for these players to get through, and they just keep hammering at the same rock, trying to break it down, but it's not working out for them at all. 3 players
exactly.
left, and they just seem they don't know what to do now. That seems to be the best way to describe it. They're just
Yeah,
waiting.
waiting for the sky smokes to dissipate. And actually, the perfect moment to strike would be right now, while it's still just a 3v3. Even though Ginny knows where they're gonna come from, they should be peeking this. And that's exactly what they do. But the Rolling Thunder is here, just waiting on the sound cue for the spike to go down. And they're immediately gonna pull the trigger. Actually, no, they decide to play it as a team. And this is even a scarier prospect here for Starlight because now it's 5v3. The Rolling Thunder is not gonna let them move here from their positions. One in heaven, one legit queen up in the sights, and one from drop. Margot finds one, orbital strike at the ready, pulls the trigger early on it, but she will be able to find 1 kill with it, and a third to follow through with that, but the defuse still coming through, and now Baby T has pressed the issue. 5-0 on the board. And ARF, they threw everything there. Still not securing the round. Still not finding success. And still X10 to come out on top.
Yeah, it makes sense honestly because they just are not able to, like I mentioned before, they're not able to get through this A side at all. They're having so much trouble making it through that 3-stack, and this time around they had the right idea. They decided to go in for the drop play instead, and they were able to at least get the spike down. But apart from that, they're not having success. So this is a good time to really call a timeout and figure out
Yes.
where exactly X10 is vulnerable, because they know for a fact that 3 players are on that A side. B has 2 players tops, and they should try and perhaps concentrate a bit towards tower or towards arcade or even towards drop rather than
Yeah.
going to the same area where they know there are 3 players.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of options here, but we've seen that same pattern the last game as well, Zach. They went for so many different routes to try and contest so many different power points here with X10 Sapphire, and we all know how that turned out. They didn't really find a lot of success with it. They didn't really find a lot of rounds with it.
Hmm.
And it's only gonna get harder as we go into the second half. So really, ARF, they have to get their stuff in order soon.
Teleport's ready.
But I'm not sure if this is not gonna be that round. Legit Queen, look, only has that Guardian, while everyone else have the full-on buy, light shields for Rue and Crescents, and they have the Resurrect. So maybe they could just flush the site here, but instead they decided to split up. I like this change of pace from them, but they should make this work.
Yep, it's gonna be the operator online as well for Muffin. Like, they didn't have enough trouble to deal with. It is going to be the operator, and they seem to want to go towards tower and towards the B side because they know there are only 2 players here already. The barrier being broken down, and Muffin, she's gonna miss that crucial first shot. Now they know where the operator is, and that paint shows is gonna be able to push her off that particular angle. Rue taking her down to top things off here, and with that the B side is open. That's exactly what they needed, and they have so much in the way of utility right now. They have the breach, they have flashes, they have they almost have the Raze ultimate as well. If Rue can get 1 more kill, that's gonna be the showstopper online as well. So all they have to do is really hold on and not give peaks like the one that Shabby just did. Unfortunate, but in this 2v3, every single kill counts, and all 3, I'm sorry, it's going to be X10 who have to make their way forward. They know that there are players towards this tower, but Arcade, will they clear this out? They spot the tip of Legend Queen's head, dink her a little bit, but the wallbang is gonna keep her alive.
Flash is now coming out, and it's buying so much time here. Alyssa, good for 1 more before biting the dust, and that's just gonna signal the retreat here for Crescents. And Well, there you have it. The first round on the board there for ARF. 1-5. They finally find their footing. And like I said, a change was due. They went for the split, eked out the operator, and once it was out, B side was open for the taking. And that's gotta feel good for Starlight. They didn't really even have to invest any ultimates in that round, which means that they can make a repeat of that and make it a little bit faster, especially with Rouge Showstopper now being available. But yeah, Muffin, even though even though Muffin got punished with the operator, there's still a tour de force to be careful of. So Starlight again have to do a repeat of what they did in the last round, which was to isolate Muffin, figure out where she is. But she's the one being aggressive now. She gets flashed out. But is she actually gonna go for more?
I think she will, because when you're playing that
There you
chamber, you have you have to get out of jail card for free. The resurrection does come through, and it's gonna be Muffin though, who's trying to repick the angle, but is not gonna be able to really find anything. But even though it's still back to a 5v5, every single inch of momentum and space which ARF had managed to gain over the course of using the flash, the slows, everything, it's all gone again. The breach out is going to be popped though, and oh, she has the TP ready if she needs to use it. The showstopper as well, pushing all the way towards their spawn, not finding anything. Muffin though is going to be able to get her, take her down instead. She will be eventually shut down, but the site is still gone and ripe for the taking. Jenny though, with that aftershock, oh no, Margot goes down, so that's gonna be no more smokes left. And yet again, Baby TZ, such a menace on this flame, always creating so much pressure, and it's just going to be X10 exploiting those vulnerabilities. Unless they shut her down quick, it's gonna be so rough. Oh no.
Oh, there you go. She does clear the angle. Legit Queen falls down, and Polly cracks at the heads of Crescent. So does Ginny against Shabby. Wow, they play that so well. Again, the lurk from Baby. He knows, or she knows exactly when to pull it off. They know that there is an ultimate available. The Rolling Thunder was up. So they take drastically different routes to get into that site on the post plant. And again, the first frag from Muffin, always so consistent on the kills, no matter on what agent you put her on, whether it be on the chamber or the neon. Let's take a look at this one more time. That's waiting from Baby T. Just legit Queen falling down there just signals that X10 Sapphire again are going to dominate that round. And it's back to the drawing board for Starlight. No guns for them, just the sheriffs.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Muffin again with that operator fighting that first pick, and she's not gonna be able to she's gonna whiff, but nevertheless she will still be able to keep her life at the very least. Already shutting again, like every time Muffin manages to get that first kill, it just shuts down ARF's push. They just seem to be confused as to what exactly they can do next here. Margot trying to see if she can find some kind of value towards this drop area, but immediately is going to be smoked off, and until that goes away, she's not gonna be able to do much. Ginny as well is willing to push through, watch this angle and just hold on for any kind of aggression in case somebody decides to jump in. She has the backup as well from main Polly ready. This crossfire again, this is something that X10 is so good at fundamentally, just holding down these crossfires, holding down the fort. Baby TZ will spot these two players towards main, and in the meantime, well, the drop is just cleaned up.
Exactly, the crossfire, we're talking about it, and off screen they got 3 kills just like that, and they haven't even rotated. They're still holding the same spot, this time watching different angles, which is exactly where Shabby is at. Look at the concuss, look at the peak. It's just picture perfect here for X10 Sapphire, and a flawless to boot. 7-1 now, and X10 looking just as unstoppable as they were in game number 1. Starlight, the options really are waning here, Zach. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't really know what to do either. And Starlight, it shows that they're running out of options. No matter what attempt they throw at X10 Sapphire, just shut down by crossfire, by op, by concuss, and it doesn't run out. Sapphire really have to find that one key ingredient that's been missing from their arsenal. And this is a B side push happening so far. One member down in the lurk. 4-1 split into B. Again, they take control of B side. This is a good thing for them, but can they hold this presence?
I I'm not sure about that. Margot, though, finally the kills going in favor of the side of ARF. 3 picks to their name, but Ginny is still alive, and Ginny is still wrecking havoc. And look what she has in her hand. She
Wow.
has that Rolling Thunder ready to go here. Polly as well in the meantime, taking down the Rays, bringing things back down to a 2v2. The Rolling Thunder has been invested towards tower, but nobody is playing there. It is going to be the Orbital Strike that is finding a kill, bringing things back to a 1v1. Ginny, she knows the player might be towards tower, but Margot is playing so patiently. I don't know if she's aware that half the
She's not
defuse has
timing.
come through. She's not ready for it. She does get the kill with her utility, but it's not gonna matter because the defuse is done with. And wow, I like that call to stick half. Like, I think they knew the Orbital Strike was there, and they were just like, you know what, I'll stick half.
Yeah.
I trust that you'll clutch it out, and Ginny does exactly that. Unfortunate. That was so unfortunate
shot,
right
though.
now for the side of ARF. Yeah, it was so clean. It was just so rough for them because they, even though they got those 2 initial picks, they just could not prevent any kind of trades from coming through.
Yeah, and again, another misplay right there. If Shabby did not fall there,
You want
could
to
have been
play?
a
Let's
very, very
play.
different set of events. Because remember, when you commit an orbital strike in the post plant, you typically expect your team to play back, right? And wait for the orbital strike to finish. But Shabby pushing down means she got punished down. Muffin looking to aggress even further here in Arcade. Legit Queen just waiting for the opportune moment. I think Legit Queen is aware that there's at least one member just around the corner, which is why she's being ever so patient here. And she knows that Muffin wants to peek this. But again, the crossfire, Zach. And what? They find Crescents. It seems like they weren't aware at all. Legit Queen falls as well. And that's the 3rd kill for Muffin. Might potentially be looking for the ace now as the plant now happening in B.
Well, they do manage to get the spike down, but it's just going to be these 2 players left right now. Shabby has so much work that she needs to do to try and close this out here with that turret, of course. Smokes do come down, making things a bit easier, but that shot is going to not connect, and she's going to be forced off the angle. Finds Baby TZ, though, but that's going to be it. A 1v4 right now for Shabby to try and keep things from not ending, and she's just going to be sprayed down in the smoke. Unfortunate. 9-1 right now. X10 are looking unstoppable, and last time around, I think it was a 10-2 half. I think they're looking to improve on that map. They're trying to get an 11-1 at this point because that's exactly how they're playing, especially this from Muffin. The fact that she manages to get 3 there and just goes untraded, it's rough.
Yeah, and
It's
again,
absolutely rough.
and again, it's Muffin that's been very, very consistent. She's just been all over the place. I mean, let's take a look at the scoreboard real quick. Of course, it's Muffin at the top, Baby T, and
Bonne
Ginny,
chance, mes amis.
who this time will be having a much better performance compared to the last game. But man, everyone from X10 has just stepped up to the plates. Everyone who has been given a clutch this game has succeeded in securing that clutch. And Sapphire, again, is starting to get their rhythm. They try to force down this drop push, but the crossfire here is finally gonna get nullified. Alyssa's still alive, and it evened out. Knight just Polly mowing them all down. Muffin will be left alone this time, so they actually have a chance at this. But can they actually get the plant off? They know where Muffin is. Not the exact position though, as she gets swung out from. And that's the spike out in the open. 9 HP left, but the teleporter is available for both of them. Shabby can plant here, but all it takes is 1 bullet. 1 bullet each, and Muffin just better with the swing.
I get away.
10-1, X10 Sapphire.
Last round.
Muffin, you magician. How did she pull that off?
Tap heads, click heads. That's how she pulled it off. At least the second kill. The first one was a bit awkward, but her positioning was really good. And this headshot was extremely clean. The fact that she was able to flick onto Shabby's head like that, well, that is going to be it. Yet again, they're going to look. They're in a bit of a rough position. This is the last round in this half, so they have to. ARF have to try and win it to get it to at least a 10-2. But looking at what they have in their pockets, they're gonna have to use their ults to really make things happen. Rue has that showstopper. Margot has that orbital strike, so they're gonna have to use this to at least try and clear some space. Already, Baby TZ towards this main area, playing aggressively here, but I don't think she saw Shabby cross. And yep, that's gonna be Shabby finally being able to take down the menace towards A main, who's none other than Baby TZ. The Molly, though, that's going to be perfect. It's going to shut down any kind of push coming in from the drop for a while.
The confidence on Baby TZ has been at an all-time high, which is why she's constantly peaking that A main angle despite having the better gun, despite not having the need to risk it. She still does so because she knows she can win the fight. This time, she doesn't. But Avenger is gonna be there. Alyssa is the first one to get a kill, but this is it. ARF, they're finally gonna get their round. It's the last round, of course, so Muffin is going to attempt at this 1v4, take a crack at it. But look at all their positioning. Looking at just the one angle where Muffin's gonna come from. She's gotta set up a TP, otherwise she's for sure gonna fall the moment she gives a little bit of information. But that's the exact...
I think they know.
Yeah. There's only one angle she can come from, realistically, here. And she gets one! Gonna clear out one of these angles one by one, and she gets another! The third! The no-scope doesn't connect, but she still finds that damage. I mean, I know it's the last round, but still, X10 is making the most out of each and every moment.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna be heading into our halftime break pretty soon, but yet again, we're looking at a 10-2 half. And last time this happened, Matt, it did not go well for ARF. It was a 13-3 by the end of it. They only managed to get one more round, and we're looking at a possible repeat of that. You know, I think what really worked out well for X10 in this particular map is how aggressively they were able to really control the map. Like you saw Muffin always peeking out on that B side, being able to get that first pick with the operator, and of course on A side, that triple stack towards main was just devastating. In fact, I believe strongly that in the last round, if they decided to pull that same tactic and Baby TZ was not playing alone there, it would have been 11-1 score. But nevertheless, you know, ARF Starlight, they have managed to get 2 rounds. They are at a big deficit, but if they can win the pistol, they can at least try to make this comeback happen, because people have come back from worse, and it's not over yet. It is their map pick, but perhaps they're more comfortable on their attacking half. I think statistically they have a 93% attack win rate, so they do perform better on the attack compared to the defense, just a bit. So hopefully we can see that being put into action against X10. But man, if that was X10 on the defense, I'm kind of afraid to see how they're going to be looking on the attack there.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with how explosive the performance has been for both Baby and well, the rest of the squad here. Just to mention a few is Muffin, that's still an absolute monstrosity on that chamber, and I can't wait to see how ARF is going to come back, because the first step of winning a second half pistol is to win the 12th round, and they did just that. So chances are a little bit higher now for them to secure the pistol. I mean, of course, they have yet to win a pistol. Did they win the pistol in the last I don't think so, right?
No.
I don't think, yeah,
No.
they did not win the pistol in the last game either. So this is where it begins for them, that glimmer of hope to perhaps extend us into game number 3 and get to the 10-10 or even 13-10 scoreline. It begins here, and this is the most important pistol round that they realistically have faced for the night, if they want to extend the night, that is. So Starlight, they really have to get their stuff together, because essentially the difference maker between these two teams are just the fundamentals. Starlight, every time it comes down to the wire, it's just the raw aim and the map presence that's been superior for X10 Sapphire. Other than that, the utility usage is on point. It's just when it comes to the fights, that's when Sapphire shines.
Yeah, and more than that, Sapphire has like a talent for being able to convert these situations where they are at a disadvantage. We've seen them, yeah, like exactly 2v5s, the 2v4s. You're not supposed to let them win that, but they are able to win that so often. It's not like a one-off occurrence either. Anyway, though, heading into this pistol round, it does seem like they've taken a leaf from the book of the X10 players, but it's going to be Shabby who gets the first pick, but is going to be falling back. With the chamber going down, Rue has to fall back here. She doesn't have any backup to continue playing on that angle, also being vulnerable from drop because there's no more trademark really available to deal with things. However, that wall comes into the face at the right time for these players. Alyssa through the door, already able to somehow take down 2, and that lays open the A side. The last 2 players for the side of ARF, they're gonna be towards CT as well as I believe towards this area here, already going down. Very, very unfortunate. It's all down to just Legit Queen. Does have that armor, has that classic. Her position is not known, which is the one thing she has going in her favor, but
so many
she's going to be taken down any second now if she's not careful, because guess who's watching that angle? It is going to be something right behind her. Oh, no. Has to deal with 4 of these players, gets 1, but it's going to be all she gets, 11-2, and Right now, Starlight, they're staring down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
A 2-0.
Yeah, it was a nice swing there from Legit Queen to start it off, but still unable to finish the kill still because of the overwhelming numbers of X10 Sapphire. And as like you said, that Zach here staring down at the barrel of match point, at the barrel of losing this series, and staring down at the lower bracket. It's so close there. They're not actually going to go for the forced buy here, which signals to me that they are going to be playing for overtime, which is an absolute improbability here given the fact that they have 2 rounds on the bank. They're playing the right idea, though, playing up close, but the Spectres aren't going to be enough. We've seen this happen way too many times, and it's not going to turn out any different this time. X10 Sapphire, all it takes is one or a couple of Spectres, and they're at match point.
Yeah, that cut through them like a laser beam, both Muffin and Baby TC. Muffin getting 3 right there. In fact, that's going to bring her very close to the Tour de Force, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Just 1 away. So if she can get an Altor buff, which there are like 4 on this map, that's going to be very, very important in this particular round as they try to convert this bonus. It is still a bonus for them, technically, because Starlight does have their full buy. Last time around, Starlight barely won this. It got down to a 1v1, and if Muffin gets her hands on that Tour de Force, I do not fancy Starlight's chances. But either way, it seems like Sapphire, they're going to just be waiting for any kind of aggression coming in from the side of these Starlight players who are not doing that. They're like, look, we have the weapon advantage. We are just going to be holding. You have to walk into our crosshair anyway, and that's what they're going to be patiently playing for.
Yeah, and I like this because look at what Sapphire is doing. They're actually doing that. They're walking very, very aggressively from Dish and from B main. And the moment they catch an inkling of information, they actually are going to reposition themselves into where that action is happening. And A site seems to be the answer here for X10 Sapphire as they slowly make waves into the site. Drop gets pummeled, but nobody is here to meet them. So again, it's going to be an easy plant, and from here on out, they can play any close quarters that they want with these Spectres, which honestly is not a bad thing for X10.
5v5 retake right now, and this is the last round. They have to win this to keep their chances in this series alive. Otherwise, they're just going bye-bye to the lower bracket. Coming through from drop right now, as well as from the CT. They have to clear out so many angles. Shabby finding the first pick, but Alyssa and Muffin are playing too closely to really be able to make things happen. But they find those picks. It's all down to just Alyssa in a 1v2. If she can play time somehow, if she can create these kills, she gets 1. But Margot is going to be able to clutch it out. Last time around as well was Margot who won a 1v1, by the way. She keeps ARF's dreams alive by 1 second.
1 second.
1 second.
160 milliseconds. Whew. It's very, very... I mean, again, it's down to the last man, right? Just like the last time. And it's mostly because of, well, X10 securing the site for free. I mean, if anything, that's very, very fortunate for our ARF that they still were able to secure that round, because it was perfect for Sapphire. They were at A site, they only had Spectres, and they could take as many short-range fights as they could. And they did. Now, Muffin on
Chamber
the op.
versus
Yeah,
Chamber.
Tour de Force versus Tour de Force. We've seen this a couple of times already. And so far, it's Muffin. It's found a little bit more success. This time, it's Muffin again. Be quicker on the trigger. Shabby falling down means there's no Tour de Force, means that again, it's an open defense here. One member falling down means that ARF are a little bit confused where to go.
12-3, and already Shabby going down. That's a major weapon offline. No more operator, and it's still going to be Muffin holding down that particular angle. So they're not going to really be able to make any kind of headway into that B side. I think they've given up on it, which is probably why they're trying to go for
Reserve it.
they're trying to push towards the A side instead. It is going to be Rue who's playing aggressively here, but this angle with the Spectre, I'm not quite sure of her chances. I'm not really sure of her chances at all.
Yeah. A little bit far, and Rue gets concussed and flashed on away. The gunshots are gonna give her away as well, but they don't want nothing to do with her.
30 seconds
Just want to get the spike down. Margot, bastion of defense here in A site, but they actually hesitate to get into it. So now that might be a little bit of a danger spot here. Baby T falls down. Crescent's here as well. That hold down in heaven really has paved the way for them to perhaps get back into sight, but still it's a 2v2. Poly, yes, for the double! And there you have it, X10 Sapphire. In the same way they end the first game, they end this second one 13-3. X10 Sapphire, an absolute masterclass of a series.
Yeah, a statement being made, like you mentioned. Sure, we've had a rough couple of months so far, but we're not messing around this time. We know it's our last chance, and we're here to squeeze every single bit of victory we can from it. And they won it in such a dominating fashion. 13-3, both maps, a clean 2-0, as they're going to be moving on to the upper bracket semifinals. A phenomenal series coming in from them, and they're going to be feeling very pleased with themselves. Of course, that last round especially, everybody was so focused on the site, on the spike going down with there being only 15 seconds left, that nobody knew where Polly was, and she just walked all the way around, came through the door, and found both of those picks. So phenomenal round coming in from her. I think, like you mentioned, Matt, the fundamentals from X10 and Sapphire are just so strong. Whether it's post-plant positions, holding those crossfires, getting onto site in the first place, being able to use utility to do that, and even if they're at a numerical disadvantage, they don't panic. They make the most of a bad situation, and that's exactly what has brought them to this juncture and this kind of a dominating win.
Yeah, they make the most by winning that situation, even though it's 2v4, 2v5, 3v4, 3v5. They seem to find a way to squeeze out the victory. X10 Sapphire really showing us that they might be at that same form they were a few months ago. Let's take a quick... I want to make a quick rundown here of the matches that have gone today. Basis 6 will be moving on into the upper semifinals, sending Madness into the lower. And because X versus Black Magic going up against each other in the other broadcast, it's X that won. So Black Magic, I believe, will be facing up against Madness. And I believe right now the scoreboard is ready for this matchup. So let's take a look at that. I wonder who the MVP is here for X10 Sapphire. There are 3 candidates, and it is going to be Muffin. Wait, actually, it's not 3 candidates. It's so far. My mistake.
It's just Muffin. It's just Muffin.
It's not a contest at all. She's like ahead by 130 almost. 130 something against Alyssa. That's absolutely crazy. I'm sorry, my mind.
It's I understand you completely. I think Muffin is just that kind of player where she aimed at everybody else. We saw her on the Neon, we saw her on the Chamber this time around, and yeah, she's gonna be propelling X10 into that upper bracket like you mentioned. And on the opposite side though, Shabby, she didn't do too shabby, if I can say so myself. She did as well as she could, and it's just that it felt like it was Shabby playing a 1v5 a lot of the time. The rest of Starlight, they just couldn't keep up against X10 players, so that is going to be the main reason why they are falling into this lower bracket here. If you look at the wins as well, both objective and frag wins, X10 have overwhelmed Starlight here, 7-1 and 6-2. That is insane coming in from them. The damage as well, they have an entire almost 4k more of damage than their opponents, so that's really unfortunate. Either way, though, it's not over yet for ARF Starlight. They have a shot in the lower bracket tomorrow. Let's take a look at the MVP for the series, who, without a doubt, is going to be Muffin, MVP of both matches of the series. And phenomenal performance coming in from her this time around. So, yeah, she's woken up. She looked a bit shabby during overtime, but she's back. She's back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I could safely say the same for X10 Sapphire. Guys, a team to watch out for here in LCQ, definitely one of the top contenders, looking like they found their rhythm once more. Of course, as they move on into the upper semifinals, things are only going to get tighter from there on out, and I wonder just how well they're going to perform. But for the night, that's it, folks, for our 2 best of 3s. Let's make a quick rundown of the teams that, again, have played today. Earlier was Basis 6 winning against Madness Zen. So the lower bracket is going to be between Madness and BMG, and then ARF falling down. And we have yet to conclude that other matchup, Big versus W Streaks Esports, and we'll find out concluding over to the main FSL broadcast. So if you guys want to check that out and see how that match concludes, make sure to check it out at twitch.tv/FSL, I believe. There you go. Yeah.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
And, that's a match that you probably want to catch because W Streaks, they barely missed out on qualifying the last time around during overtime. It went to a best of 5. All 5 maps were, 3 of the maps were in overtime. So that's a match that you definitely want to watch. They always put on quite a show. And, we talked about Arresta's players being stolen bit by bit. 2 players from Arresta are also playing for W Streaks. So one of them already punched their victory ticket today. It's going to be the other 2 to see if they can still do so. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for Matt and me today. I think we'll be back tomorrow for more action though. So we'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is VCT Game Changers APAC LCQ. See you tomorrow.